Hey everyone, I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Fuego here.
And this is your Horror Show News editorial edition that can be found here every single Friday, where we talk about all of the week's top news stories and give our opinions on them. So first off, we want to talk about the Little Shop of Horrors remake.
Yes, I think we need to loosen our ties
That's
for this
true,
one.
I forgot. We can get a little more comfortable.
I know, not quite as prim and proper here. This is down and dirty and nasty, and people might be thinking, nasty idea to be remaking Little Shop, but many don't remember that it was a Corman film in the 60s that had Jack Nicholson starring in it originally. He's on the box art, and I think it was even before Easy Rider, so we're talking, still wet behind the ears for old Jacko. What's your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I am actually really excited because I love man-eating anything, let alone man-eating plants, which scared the hell out of me. And I thought the songs were good. I thought Rick Moranis was amazing. Steve Martin, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Murray cameo.
Bill Murray, too. There was so much good stuff in that movie that... it's a little sad to hear that it needs to be remade, but quite frankly, I don't mind it, because if you watch it right now, I'll bet it would look quite dated.
Indeed. I mean, Frank Oz did a hell of a job directing it, but nonetheless, there are capable hands in this new process as well. Berlanti, man. I mean, he's like the creative mind behind all of the DC television stuff. People have celebrated that for quite a while now, bringing on Arrow and Flash and all that stuff.
Supergirl.
And, Supergirl too, getting her from CBS over to CW. So, capable hands once again. And, I don't hate on every remake. I mean, the Dawn of the Dead remake is one of my favorite horror movies ever, and people thought that was like sacred ground to, put your feet on. So, yeah.
The Thing, one of the best ever, was also a remake.
Indeed, and the same with The Fly, and the same with The Blob, which is actually my favorite horror movie. So, I mean... yeah, who's to say? Don't be judgmental. Give it a chance. If it sucks, it's not going to take the original away from you.
Exactly.
It's still there.
You'll still have it there to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as other properties go that people are taking another stab at, we have a remake of the BBC miniseries, which was called Jekyll, right? And this one is actually going to be an American remake that's going to have the Zombieland director behind it, Mr. Captain American himself, Chris Evans, actually starring in the lead role. He's a descendant of the original one? I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, he is, but the original one, the BBC Jekyll, was really good. It was 6 episodes. I'm spacing on the gentleman's name, but he played one of the Hobbits in the new series of Hobbit movies. Oh man, it's gonna come and go in my mind. I can see it flashing, but
it's all right.
it's a really good series. He plays a man that's, I think he's got a kid too and a family that
they were saying
when things get out of control, it's really
leaves,
crazy.
Right?
Yeah,
he goes and locks himself in a basement. And he has this nurse chaining him down so that when he actually turns over, and there's a recorder aspect involved, if what I was reading was correct, where he's giving messages to himself because he doesn't remember what one split personality is doing versus the other one.
And he's horribly mean and stuff like that,
but also
rude to people.
But also kind of alluring and kind of a suave ladies' man of sorts.
Yeah, so I'm into American Remake. I think the series was great, so I'd love to see what we do on our ends. Now, it was just a 6-episode series, one and done.
Yeah, but if they're doing a movie and they're going to condense it...
Oh, it's just a movie? Okay, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
then I think that'll be doable.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it couldn't be anywhere near as scary as Dr. Jekyll and Ms. Hyde, which was one of the worst movies of the 90s, so
they're going to do that separate from the Universal Monster thing?
Exactly. So it's like a competing thing. I was originally thinking the Universal Monsters universe was going to be, back in the day, but it looks modern day. So I guess Russell Crowe has some direct competition in line for playing that iconic
younger version,
Robert Louis Stevenson character. So what's on your second story, man?
That is the fact that Paramount pulled God Particle from their release schedule and instead put on Cloverfield's IMAX project to be released on October 27th, 2017.
Let the speculation begin.
Are there
exactly. 2 movies now?
Are there 2 movies or is it the same movie? My
or...
guess is they're rebranding the God Particle movie because it was a terrible title.
Yeah, it was weird.
It didn't say anything and it didn't tie anything to the Cloverfield franchise. 10 Cloverfield Lane was a real clever title.
It was, and yet that was, as I think I said a few weeks ago in the news, that was a film that was retrofitted. It was originally its own self-encompassed thing that was actually written by the director of Whiplash and the upcoming La La Land, and so it's just kind of interesting, they're trying to expand this into a big brand, into a big franchise. I know that, Mr. JJ is all about that, and he saw some lucrative potential here, but is everything going to be retrofitted, or are they going to do, a true Cloverfield sequel with big monsters again at some point, as opposed to just glimpses like at the end of 10 Cloverfield? I don't really know.
I don't know, but there weren't big ones at the end of 10 Cloverfield, just regular-sized monsters.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So I want to see more big old smashing, man, but I don't think God Particle is going to bring it, regardless if that's the next IMAX project or it's something else.
I'd like to see big monsters, but I'll take the small ones as long as there are monsters.
Indeed, yes. Monsters galore, and we always cover them. And The Howling is another big iconic franchise that saw a bunch of very lesser sequels after the awesomeness of the Joe Dante original. And I guess Space Goat Productions, who we know from the fact that they did that awesome-looking Evil Dead 2 board game. They have a Terminator one that's upcoming. They're apparently tackling The Howling next. They're going to do a 4-issue comic series that accompanies it. It's called Revenge of the Queen or Red Queen or something like that. I'm losing the title at this point, but that's going to be coming out in the summer, and then there's also going to be another accompanying tabletop game. I think they're seeing kind of a resurgence as, guys like us get a little older and we want to tap back into some of that nostalgia. Are you excited? I mean, board games are fun, right?
I'm excited I definitely want to play the Evil Dead 2 game, which the same people made, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know if I'm as interested to play a Howling game. The Howling movies I like because they're great werewolf movies, but
they're running vampires.
I've only watched
right?
them all once. Yeah, I can't even remember if that is the case, but it wouldn't surprise me.
4 or 5, maybe even.
Yeah,
werewolves versus vampires.
it spoke to me when I was a 13-year-old boy because there were a lot of clothes tearing away before girls turned into wolves. So it was an interesting time in my life. But yeah, I haven't watched them since.
It was a very transformative time in your life.
You
perhaps?
could say that.
Ow!
So yeah.
Plus Dee Wallace in the very first one. Swing, swing. Ow! I still love her, and I got to interview her earlier this year at Mad Monster, which was a big privilege. So yeah, I mean, it's a viable franchise. I can't say that I'm that shocked. I'm more interested, honestly, in the comic book than I even am in the board game.
Me too. Werewolf comic books are really fun. I have a number of those, and when the gore is done right, they're really cool, and the wolves are scary. So frankly, they can do more with art than I've seen a majority of filmmakers be able to do with practical effects.
Oh, yeah.
That's not all filmmakers, but a majority of them, because there's a lot of independent ones.
Indeed. Although the Wolf Cop comic was pretty sweet looking too, they cranked the gore up even harder on that one. So, hey man, just give us something cool and expand the universe a little bit, and I'll be happy. You don't have to give me too much.
Yeah, exactly. Now, another thing that might make you happy if you're into horror like we are is the 12 Deadly Days, which is currently airing on YouTube Red. It is a team-up effort between Blumhouse Television and YouTube, where they produced 12 half-hour horror comedy episodes that are airing daily for the 12 days leading up to Christmas Day.
I love horror comedy, man.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to be up against things like Killer Carolers, a Haunted Christmas Tree, Lovelorn Vampires, all kinds of different things, all in the Christmas motif.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because YouTube is obviously pursuing this pay service of sorts now, and it's Red, exclusive to that, right?
It is. It is on YouTube Red, but, frankly, for 12 half-hour episodes, that's 6 hours, that's 3 movies worth of material. If it costs less than $30 for a single month, then I think it's probably worth it.
Yeah, and I think there's like a 7-day trial you can do or something, so maybe wait till right before Christmas and then subscribe and then just binge them all.
It'd be a perfect thing to binge because it's all Christmas themed, or a lot of it is anyway, from what I understand.
Yeah, so I'm definitely stoked for that. I mean, Blumhouse, their stuff is kind of hit and miss, but for the most part, it's at least solid enough. Even if it doesn't wow me, it's still pretty good. So, yeah, I'd imagine this is going to be more hit than miss, and more hit than miss, I don't know. People have mixed feelings about that Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and they're adding Freddy to the MKX mobile game, not to the full game, which I think is it a precursor, you think, to putting the remake Jackie Earl Freddy in the big game?
I hope
so. Is it just
so.
going to stick on mobile? Or?
No, I hope. That's such a weird move, but I hope that it does well enough that they'll put him in the regular game too, because then we could do Freddy versus Jason versus Leatherface on the consoles.
Ah, so cool.
That would be definitely neat. Yeah, and I never actually got to play Freddy on Mortal Kombat 9 because I traded in the game before I got a chance to, but...
That was the proper Robert Englund Freddy, whereas, this one is the remake version, so...
I thought this was the remake. I thought that one was the remake too, actually.
No, that one looked much more, at least from what I remember, like Robert Englund, and then this one looks much more like Jackie Earl, so I don't know, I guess they were trying to differentiate the two, and
Either way, I'll play it if they bring it to consoles. I won't get the mobile game just for that, but it's cool that they did it anyway.
Yes, I want to have Freddy and Jason, since we never got that sequel movie that was supposed to have Ash in it and be like a continuation of the comic spin-off. Hey, I guess this is the next best thing. Better than nothing.
Better than nothing, exactly. So that's going to do it for this week's Horror News Editorials, you guys. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Fuego. Definitely make sure to check out our TeePublic site where you can score some horror show swag, like our logo proper, the Coexist, which is our own design. You can only get it from us, and there's all kinds of other horror mix-up, mash-up artists of coolness that we can both vouch for, and you also get to help support the show along the way, and give the gift of all the horrific. We really appreciate it.
Exactly. So thanks again. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.